Hello and welcome to Live with Hillsdale Hospital. I'm your host, J.G. Hodgshire, President and Chief Executive Officer. Today is Thursday, July 30th, and I'm joined in the studio by a very special guest. We come to you to give you the latest and greatest updates that are happening in your hospital, in your backyard, every week. This week, it is a pleasure. It is an absolute pleasure to have one of my favorites. And I know we're not supposed to have favorites, but I've got a couple. My mom had favorites. I can have favorites. Dr. Schexnaydre, Evon Schexnaydre. And first of all, welcome to Hillsdale.
Thank you.
It's so great to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
First time in the studio.
Yep.
Yeah. And I want you to tell your journey in just a minute. We're going to talk today about OB-GYN, maternal care. We're going to talk about all the things that are important in your life, that are important in the lives of a lot of our patients every year.
Sure.
You know, we're doing 400 or greater deliveries. We're seeing a lot of patients in the office for GYN, a lot of opportunities that we've launched here recently, such as centering and looking at other opportunities for lactation counseling and really just holistically looking at the mom and baby and how we can better serve them in our community. And, you know, we've had some departures, and we were able to do a national recruitment. We found you not too far away, up near Wisconsin, I believe, up north. Yeah. And it was great to be able to interview you. The first time that we interviewed you, Dr. Spencer and myself, Lindsay, we're like, okay, this is definitely the one. We've got to be able to get her here. Your clinical acumen is amazing. Your bedside manner is incredible. You're kind. And I'm hearing that now that you've been here more from our patients in the community. And it's so important to be able to connect with our community. I want to maybe talk about, you know, some of your sweet spots in the delivery that you give. I do know that GYN is one of your passions, and we're going to talk about potentially some new service lines with that. But first of all, Dr. Schexnaydre, let's talk about you. When did you start your journey? You know, talk to us a little bit about why you chose healthcare. Why did you choose women's health? And what brought you to Hillsdale? Can you take us through that journey so our listeners just get to know you a little bit more?
Yeah, well, I originally started out in architecture because I really liked the science part of it. And, but as time went by, I didn't really like going to the site so much.
Yeah.
You know, and at that time, it probably wasn't the friendliest place for a woman to be.
Yeah.
So I always loved the sciences and biology. So then I switched to pre-med, and I just really loved it. My mom was a nurse.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yep. And so when I was 16, I did some work in nursing homes with her.
Yeah.
And so I just really started to feel like my true calling was working with people.
Yeah.
And helping them.
Yeah.
So as time went by, I ended up in medicine. And so I just continued on that route, and I trained in New Orleans, and we went to a lot of very rural places, way out in the bayous.
Oh, yeah.
Where people speak Cajun French,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so I got to see a lot of people that really needed help, medical
They didn't
help.
have access to healthcare.
No.
I mean, whatever you took there was all they've seen in years.
Yeah. Yep.
In some of those remote areas. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, very poor.
Very poor.
Very isolated.
So appreciative, you know. And so that really made me feel like I have something to give them that they need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I felt like I want to spend my life in a worthy way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So your passion started early on,
Mm-hmm.
16, you're traveling with your mom, realizing I can do this, go through med school. Was your first job then there in Louisiana?
Yes.
Yes.
And then over time, I moonlighted in the ERs. So I did ER medicine as well.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So that was a real learning experience too, because, and this is when I really realized the difference between rural medicine and city medicine.
Yeah.
So, you know, for instance, I was sent to a hospital where the town was 400 people.
Yeah.
They did not have an ambulance.
Yeah.
The sheriff brought patients in the back of a squad car. So if they had their hand amputated working in the fields, they
picked them up.
Yeah. And then I had to stabilize them. I was the only doctor in the hospital.
Mm.
I had to do the radiology studies. repair it,
Yeah.
and as a surgeon, I'm a gynecologist, but I could suture things. And so I really had to learn a lot of other pieces of medicine
Mm-hmm.
to help patients. I had to be able to intubate patients if they had a drug overdose, reverse it, learn some anesthesia skills. So I really learned a lot, and I really realized how much need there was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know I can't fix it all, but
Right. But you could be part of it.
yeah.
One of the things that's interesting is the majority of your career has really been focused on serving safety net areas and, what we call OB desert areas.
Mm-hmm.
Recently just coming out of a place, in not too far from here, where you were about the only provider providing services for OB-GYN.
I was for quite a while. Yeah.
Delivering how many babies on your own?
A year, probably 400.
400 alone.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. And so you've got the knack for it, the passion for it. And also, just rural medicine can bring anything, either in the back of a car. You probably delivered in a parking lot, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
In the ambulance bay,
yeah.
Elevators, right? You've seen it all.
Yeah.
And that has created, this well-rounded person that we got to know on the interview and have been able to watch you live that out here in the last few months. So you get into healthcare, you get into a variety of different, modalities. You're working in the ER, and you begin this transition to safety net areas. But you arrive at Hillsdale. How's the experience been?
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, I love the city. The people have been so kind and supportive. People are offering to take my dog for a walk.
Yeah.
Neighbors help me move some stuff.
Right.
If I'm gone, because I've been gone moving.
Yes.
The neighbors are bringing my trash can up to my house.
Incredible.
Texting me and telling me and asking me if I have packages or
Yeah. It's community.
Yeah.
And when you were ill, I even offered to have my wife and I bring you over some chicken noodle soup and,
Yeah,
you like
made me a
Campbell's.
grilled cheese sandwich.
I would do a grilled cheese sandwich is about the extent of what I could do.
And possibly
But
get sick yourself.
Yes, but I was willing. This is what you have in small community.
Yeah.
But it's what you're giving back that's so important. I want to transition and talk a little bit about the program for OB-GYN, okay? And specifically, we made some changes even before you got here. We decided to go with a different model. And you've worked with various models.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we've deployed a certified nurse midwife model. We've always had a CNM, but it's operated really within the clinic, and it's really been at the provider's, shoulder. Now we're really expanding that program. We have 3 certified nurse midwives. I'm happy to report we just hired our 3rd one. 3 full-time certified nurse midwives. We have Amy Zoll, who was a former CNM here, who is shepherding the process and onboarding those individuals, still also providing services in the clinic. And then we just hired a new nurse practitioner to replace Alyssa Hartley. And the program's building. We're seeing a lot of momentum. Talk to us about that care delivery model. So it's CNM, OB-GYN. When do you see the CNM? When do you see the OB-GYN? Are you going to be seeing them at every appointment? Are you going to be delivering if it's a normal delivery? Can you talk to our patients a little bit about what can I expect?
Yeah. Well, as you said, it's still sort of in development.
Yeah.
But I think we've come pretty far along that development, and we're trying to incorporate their needs too. They have families. And, but the nurse midwives, they're highly trained professionals. And so they are doing the uncomplicated deliveries.
Right.
We are backing them up. And so that means if they suspect there's a problem,
Mm-hmm.
they contact us, we come in. The more high-risk patients, we meaning Dr. Spencer and I, are reviewing their cases, and then we're seeing them in the office predominantly.
And delivering, obviously.
Yeah, and then we do
class sections, C-sections.
Delivery is such a dynamic process.
Yeah.
So many changes. So Rachel had 2 deliveries yesterday, and I was there.
Yeah.
There was a couple things that I suggested she do, and and she's just really great about it. So.
Oh yeah, she was our first CNM
Mm-hmm.
in the new model after Amy left, and did a great job in the clinic for us. But there was kind of this lack between the clinic and what's happening on the OB floor. to give physicians a break, because when you're in rural medicine, just like when you were delivering 400 babies on your own, it's taxing. You're getting the calls every hour. What is the centimeter of the mom? What is going on? Is it in pain? What is happening? What do the fetal strips say? A lot of conversation that you're getting just as information. We're cutting a lot of that out to let the CNM handle that obviously on the unit. And then you're called in when there's a need for you. And I think that model is a beautiful model. I think it's obviously nothing new. We're duplicating what's been duplicated across the country. And as we look at these care deserts for OB, like Coldwater shut their OB down, Sturgis lost their OB, closed their hospital down several weeks ago. We're hearing of other surrounding areas that are going to divest OB. It's something where we have to look at it from a different lens. So back to the question about if I'm a patient, okay, and I'm presenting and I'm pregnant, I might see a variety of providers, right?
Yeah, you might see a couple of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the patients we had, for instance, in labor yesterday, I was in surgery. Dr. Spencer came down with Rachel and started seeing the patient. And then I finished in surgery and I went down to relieve Dr. Spencer.
Yeah. So it's that sharing.
Yeah. But it's nice because now you have several sets of eyes on this patient.
Absolutely. Yeah. Different diagnosis. So the opportunity, obviously, the patient comes in. We are offering now centering classes for parenting for the OB department, and they can sign up for that. And it's a great opportunity to learn about the delivery process. What am I expecting? You get checkups at these meetings as well, right?
Yep.
So they're doing that, primarily ran by certified nurse midwives.
Correct.
Yeah. And then you will pop in occasionally, or an OB-GYN will occasionally, correct?
Yeah.
And I think the hardest concept that some people have struggled with, just even outside of Hillsdale, is this notion like, if Dr. Schexnaydre is my doctor, she should be one to deliver my baby. The problem is you might want to take a vacation someday, right? Yeah. Now, I'm not going to let you, but you may want to take a vacation someday, and there has to be an expectation that someone's going to be there to deliver the baby. And so that's why that care model is so diverse.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So when you look at that model, what do you think's working well right now in that model?
Well, I think it's good because it allows Dr. Spencer and I some time to go do other things for women too, because we're doing a lot of gynecological surgery. And in a rural setting, if you don't have those types of surgeons, sometimes the patients have to drive 2 or 3 hours. Yeah. And we're important. We shouldn't have to drive 2 or 3 hours. Right. So.
Yeah. One of the things that you told me that was a deal breaker for you is, unless I get a robot, you don't know how long your longevity is going to be in your runway here. And so we're working on that. Obviously, I'm not going to announce anything just yet, but that's in the future. However, you have a vast amount of experience with robotics. And as we look at implementing that program here, what are the benefits of robotics? Oh,
gosh, there's so many. Well, from a patient standpoint, and GYN, I can't really speak to,
right. Any other urology or general surgery, we'll talk to them when that time comes. But from your perspective and your lens.
Well, so if I do a hysterectomy, usually the patients go home the same day. So there's less hospital time. So then it's less expensive for the patients. Yeah. There's less blood loss. There's less pain. There's less time off of work. Yeah. So there's a lot of benefits.
Yeah. And I mean, the technology's been around for, how long have you been doing robotics?
I have been using a robot since 2011.
Yeah. So it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
And always a Da Vinci?
Yeah.
Always a Da Vinci. And patient perspective, what do you hear about that? What is their perspective?
Well, a lot of times it's a foreign concept to them. I think sometimes they think that we hook them up to a robot and I go get coffee or something.
Right. Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Why don't you explain the process, though, for our listeners?
Yeah. So when a patient has a robotic surgery, we make sure they're good candidates.
Right.
And then the robot is basically an attachment to laparoscopic instruments. And the robot allows us to use the instruments like little hands. They articulate so much more than just a straight laparoscope. So there's less pulling on the tissue. It's 3D. I can zoom in really close if I see a little tiny drop of blood and get it right away. So blood loss is
minimal.
Yeah. Which is huge.
Yeah.
In
Incisions
recoveries.
little.
Incisions are tiny.
Yeah.
And, I can see all kinds of other things that I can't see with the naked eye. I can see tiny implants of endometriosis. And some of those tiny ones are more painful just because of the chemistry of them. But so we can do a lot of procedures with minimal invasion.
Through the technology of robot.
Yeah.
Well, we'll announce that here in the very near future, but I'm excited to have you part of that process. And it's just been great to have you here. Your panel's filling up, obviously. Great opportunity we'll put it up on the screen for patients to call out to the clinic to make their appointment with you. And I'm excited about the opportunity to have you here, not only serving in the capacity of OB-GYN, but also helping us lead some very significant initiatives. One of those, of course, is going to be the implementation of the robot and offering that new service in the community very soon. And just being part of that, since you've done it before, I think is very valuable. But let's talk about the team, because it's not just about you. Right? Sorry.
It's not.
It isn't. I'm so sorry. If I broke you bursted your bubble there, I'm so sorry. But at the end of the day, you've got a great team. I think you'd admit that. Number one, our medical director, Dr. Spencer, is incredible. She's soft-spoken, but she's very, very good, thorough, direct, and just a consummate professional. Just, great clinical skills, great business acumen, knows the business, a very good director for us. And, you're not successful. She's not successful unless you have good people around you. You have a team of people in the clinic and when you come to the OB unit, nursing. So you want to talk about what you've experienced with the team?
Yeah. I mean, and like you said, you're only as good as your team.
Yeah.
Right. I've had a couple very acute situations, and the team really, they were great, and the patients did great in the end. Surgery. So yesterday, I had 2 new procedures. They're new here.
New for Hillsdale, right?
Yeah. Kind of higher tech instruments. And we had 4 reps here. They came, and they had nothing but positive things to say about the OR crew.
Yeah. Anytime we bring a new rep in for a new device, a new technology, honest to goodness, and they're not just salespeople, they are, but they're quick to say that this is a unique environment, that we're different. The way we adapt to things, the kindness, and hopefully you found that to be true upon your journey here.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of fun. I've been operating with Dr. Spencer too. In some of our cases.
Yeah,
and we've had fun.
Yeah,
and the patients are doing great. The team, I asked them for something today. I asked the OR director if she could order something for me, and she already had it pulled up and ready to get it.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Well, we're responsive. We think it's important. You're our partners, and we're in this together, and we're here to serve the population, the community. The concerning issue is the number of OB-GYN clinics that are drying up across the country, the number of divestments by hospitals and OB programs altogether. It's serious right now. We have, maternity care deserts in our country, and that's a problem. I mean, talk to us from that perspective. I don't want to be all doom and gloom here, but I mean, when you lose your OB-GYN program and your hospital isn't delivering babies and you're in a remote area, this could equal death.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the maternity morbidity has really climbed, and I think a lot of it is related to those deserts and stuff. Yeah, it's hard. Not everybody has transportation or the time to drive 4 hours to an appointment.
You can't.
And with OB, you have to have so many appointments.
Right.
If there's any complications, and then what happens when you're in labor?
Right. Right. No ambulance maybe in that community, or no transport.
Yeah.
How are you going to get anywhere?
Yeah, husband, probably trying to work and support the family, and now he's going to have to take off work to take his wife to all these appointments.
Right.
So it's become a real struggle.
It is. We've made a commitment, at this hospital. We've been here 110 years. We've operated an OB, and we feel it's critically important to continue OB-GYN care, because this community and the surrounding areas need it desperately. And we know, I've always had a philosophy: so goes OB-GYN, so goes your hospital. And we usually see that pattern. It takes a few years, But when they shut down their OB-GYN, over time, unless they're a big conglomerate hospital that buys a small hospital and shuts it down, if you're an independent hospital that shuts down their OB-GYN program, usually within the 5 years, that hospital closes altogether. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to go get your care for the start of life of your child, you're going to assimilate with that hospital that you go to. And then that hospital is going to say, well, we do all those other things here. And you're going to move away from your community hospital. And that's a very big problem. And we are taking care of patients. I said this today in a discussion I had with someone, from toe to neck. We do it all now. We're doing endovascular aneurysm repairs, thoracic EVARs. We're doing neurosurgery that we never thought we'd do here before. But OB-GYN is a main stable program. And it's often cut because the majority of the population in rural communities is Medicaid, government payers for that population. And historically, before the average commercial rate, which now goes away under HR 1, is that it would not cover the cost of services. Now we're going to get back to that, because under the one big beautiful bill, it's not so beautiful, is the scale back of the average commercial rate, which means we no longer get paid the uplift of Medicaid to be able to take care of that population at or a little above cost. Every patient that walks in, majority of those patients under Medicaid will be a loss. So we have to make up that difference somewhere else. Now we're used to doing it, so we have a way to do it, right? We're used to surviving in that environment, but we did get a reprieve for several years under the ACR, which goes away in October. However, that's why hospitals are closing those programs down, because they cost. And we have made just the opposite commitment. We are investing. We've invested in the CNM model. We've invested in a centering program. We're investing in some technology, right? All of those things to keep our patients healthy and at home in our community. I think that's so important.
It is important. And, a lot of times with the reimbursements that the hospitals get, they are paying for patients to come.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And we're going to get back to those days where we don't get paid for the insurance companies because the reimbursements are so low from the government payers. And so that is a community benefit that we give. So while surgery might do well in neurosurgery, that helps offset the cost of other services that unfortunately are at community benefit base. So, it's been great to have you here in the last few months. You're beloved by many. I've had a lot of people reach out to me. I'm just so appreciative that you took the opportunity to make this your home, and hopefully your last stop in your career.
You said that when I first interviewed with you, and I said, and I told you I was interviewing with Mayo.
Yeah, I know you were.
And when you said, I want this to be your home, I said, that's where I got to go.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you took us up on that. Yeah, because it's a beautiful home, right?
It is.
Yeah, we're doing it for
the inside of it's a little messy.
The inside's a little messy, but that's only because, you're moving, right? But the home of, for Hillsdale, it's a great place to be.
It is.
And you've integrated a family here now, and it's just a great community. And you're going to find that the people are real and genuine, and the staff are equally as kind and genuine. So. Dr. Schexnaydre, thank you so much for being part of this team. It's been great to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, thank you, JJ.
Absolutely. It's been great. And we're going to put your information up on the screen. I'm going to have you back to talk about robotics in the very near future as we make some announcements in the future.
Can you ask patients to write their congressmen and senators?
Would you please?
Yeah, write your congressmen and senators. We are important. Women are important. We shouldn't have to drive 3 or 4 hours for health care.
That's right.
So let them know how you feel about it, and that you're important. Your kids are important. Your babies are important. So
couldn't have been said better. Absolutely correct. The only way we're going to move this is to move some change in Washington and in Lansing, because they are stripping programs that are vital for our community. So you heard it right here. Thanks for joining us today on live. It's been great to have you. If you want additional information about our OB-GYN program, we're going to drop some information in the show notes. If you have a question that you want to pose to Dr. Schexnaydre or the team, put it in the question box. We'll get it filtered out, sent to them, and we'll get back to you in a response. We encourage you to use our services out at Three Meadows, our OB unit here. Beautiful, beautiful unit that, we built several years ago. Individuals, we have spa tubs, and it's just a great environment.
Yeah, the staff are great out there.
The staff are great everywhere. Three Meadows and in the unit itself. So thanks for joining us today. To learn more about other services, you can go to our website, hillsdalehospital.com. There you can learn about employment opportunities, volunteer opportunities, and even giving. We're a non-for-profit. If you're looking at year-end tax donations, consider Hillsdale Hospital as one of those places you can donate to keep programs like OB-GYN strong, to allow us to invest back into technology for our patients and their families. It's very important that we have some of those contributions coming in to help offset some of the losses we're going to experience in the months ahead. To find out other information about other events that we host, you can find that online, as well as you can listen every week to WCSR 98.5, 102.5 Buzz. You can also find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Rural Health Today, our national podcast where we talk about healthcare in rural America and how we can sustain it. So we hope in one of those places you can stop, pause, listen to a program, really invite you to engage your hospital as your primary care, as your specialty care, because we do it all. We really do, from vascular to urology to neurosurgery, and consider making this your home. And as Dr. Schexnaydre said, right now in Washington, they're getting ready, I believe, in a few days to take their summer recess. But now is the time that they need to hear from you as they ponder the budget, which is due here by October, and make priorities for this country. It's important that they hear your voice, that rural America is important, that rural women are important, and make that a priority in this year's budget. We hope they will. We hope they'll listen, but the only way that they're going to know it is if you tell them. So thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Dr. Schexnaydre.
Thank you.
It's been great to have you. Yeah. And hope to see you back here again next time. And until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay Hillsdale strong.